You should definitely launch a parallel spiritual startup.
The spiritual entrepreneur. Huh? No.
Sure. फिर आप अपना लिखना कि the monk who sold his Ferrari.
You have Sadhguru on board, yaar.
Yeah, you can have Sadhguru on board.
Absolutely. Why not?
What comes to your mind when I say social media? I say vision, money, networking, and everything to humankind. Everything good to humankind. सब कुछ अच्छा है. सब connected है. But history has proven one thing time and again. What is a boon today for humanity eventually ends up becoming a bane. Or maybe the opposite. Nobody knows it yet. From being the darling of humanity in Tahrir Square to eventually becoming the biggest depression agent, immersed in trolling, death threats, rape threats, live broadcast of terrorist acts, lynchings and what not. I mean, एक टाइम आया था जब सोशल मीडिया बन गया था ट्रोलिंग बैग पूरे जमाने का. Off late we have seen much more of the latter, much more of the trollings, much more of the bad culture around social media. Post TikTok ban, there has been a resurgence in homegrown and niche social media apps targeted towards vernacular languages. Coo, which calls itself the Twitter in India, is where Indians coo instead of tweet. We have with us Apramey Radhakrishna, who is the CEO and co-founder at Coo app. Apramey, firstly, thank you for joining us. Many congratulations.
Or the co-founder.
Yeah. He's the co-founder. We can call him the co-founder.
Oh, that's a good one. So thanks a lot. Thanks for having me over. It's been a wonderful journey. So Coo is a very new app. We launched it only 3-4 months ago. So happy to be talking about it. Yeah.
For the record, let me state that Apramey is a serial entrepreneur. He co-founded, or rather co-founded, the cab aggregator Taxi for Sure that was acquired by Ola in 2015 for $200 million. And soon after, he founded Vocal to cater to vernacular audiences. So Apramey, interesting journey so far. And of course, we are joined by Rachit Gupta, who is my editorial colleague at Business World. So Apramey, very interesting journey so far. Tell us something about your journey till now as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so it's an accidental journey. Meaning, during college, while at IIM Ahmedabad, never thought, I actually stayed away from all startup courses, never sat for placements with any of the startups, kind of made up my mind that, I'm going to join a corporate and work there for the rest of my life, right? So only after joining a corporate did I start, when I was putting so much effort, I would work my, butt off and, nothing was happening, right? Because corporates grow at a snail's pace and, that wasn't satisfying my quench for achievement, right? So I think then is when I thought, okay, if I just put this struggle for a few years, maybe for my own company, right? I didn't know what I would start. But if I put it for my own company, then it'll reap a lot more dividends, right? So that's how I started off. And Taxi for Sure was a really wild journey, where we were one of the first few guys to aggregate cabs in India, and that came off well. As in, we exited at the right time, is what we feel. And after that, was thinking of what are the impactful spaces in which you can start up again. And the very fact that data and mobile phones were getting cheaper meant that a lot of people would get onto the internet, but they wouldn't really know how to use the internet, right? So building apps for fundamental reasons became important. Right, and that's how we set off on our journey to build products for the hundreds of millions of users who are coming onto the internet.
Now, since you spoke about the fundamental thought, fundamental vision, so it seems that fundamental word is very important and central aspect of your life, as far as I assume. So, what is your fundamental thought behind launching Coo? And in this era of inundation of social media apps, there have been a few failed ones as well. Of course, many successful ones as well. Of course, people know the only successful ones. What has been your fundamental thought behind launching something like Koo?
Yeah, so expression is a very critical part of any human being, right? There are different kinds of expression. Now, the mood that we set on every platform defines what you will express. Like on Instagram, you will express lifestyle. Who do I hang out with? How do I look? What do I wear? Where do I go? That is lifestyle expression. And lifestyle is best expressed in the form of photos, right? And hence Instagram is photos. When it comes to thoughts and opinions, the best way to express that is mostly by writing, right? While audio video is also an option on Koo, but we see that people like to express themselves a lot better using text. And that's what happens on Twitter as well, right? You'll see a lot more text than anything else. And the mood is about thoughts and opinions. So our thought around why we wanted Koo was, people who prefer native languages, right? Indian regional languages, which is more than 90% of India. If they had to express themselves for the first ever time on the internet, they did not have a tool, right? Their thoughts and opinions are absent on the internet just for the lack of not knowing or not being comfortable with English. And, we thought that, that is unfair, right? And that's the reason we started Koo, where, we've kind of given the power to express yourself and voice your opinion on the internet.
That's the premise of your app, Apurmay. But I'm sure you have been a visionary leader in the past, and there must be some deeper version other than just launching a Me Too player in the market. If I ask you, suppose tomorrow you have close to 50 million subscribers, 50 million downloads. What's the next game plan for you? I mean, are you headed to audiovisual mediums? Do you want to become as big as Twitter and that's you rest your boots? Is that what you aim? Or do you want to change the contextual cultural shift, which is something which you have caught? You might have thought of a cultural seismic shift in India, apart from just a vernacular. So is there some other vision which you have once you reach maybe 100 million downloads?
Yeah, absolutely. So see, at the end of it, if you want to express your thoughts and opinions, there's one way you can do it, right? You will type out, there will be a feed of thoughts and opinions that you will consume, and that's basically the product. But I think what makes Koo special is the fact that it gets deeper into a community, right? Sure. For example, our Kannada community, which is the first one we started, after which we started Hindi, Kannadigas can find fellow Kannadigas there. It is not possible easily in other social media platforms. They'll find their own friends. But what about like-minded folks who you are having discussions with or sharing stuff with, right? So, uniting a community digitally is happening at the largest scale that a Kannadiga would know, right? No matter where you are in the world, you are able to connect with other Kannadigas, whether famous or your own, peers, and be able to express yourself, right?
So you want to focus on value than in volume.
Yeah. So we will have multiple communities. Like Kannada is one, Tamil is another, Telugu is another, the Hindi-speaking belt will be another. So we will have multiple communities. It's not that we will go small. The approach is different. When you go to an English microblogging platform like Twitter, you will find that people will talk about global issues and people will talk about national issues, right? What if let's say I'm sitting in Hubli or Dharwad in Karnataka, and I want to bring out an issue that I'm having in Hubli, Dharwad. That will never be able to be trended on a national oriented platform, right? And it will most probably be trended on Koo than anywhere else. And that is the power of Koo, right? And when you look at it, even the most famous politicians, right? They have to be locally influential, right? They should have made an impact at the ground level with the folks in their constituencies, right? It is not about how famous you are in India. It is about your impact and your ability to influence in the local community. And that we make it possible on a platform like Koo.
Sure.
Okay, Apramay, since Twitter is also available in 7 Indian languages, I think right now, how is Koo really different from Twitter when it comes to that? And like you mentioned that you will be kind of initiating, an atmosphere of trending hyper-local topics, right? So once Koo develops or once Koo reaches, kind of a place where you have $50 million, 100 million users per day, is that going to affect the trend? Is that going to affect the offering that you're giving now? That is the hyper-local trends. Because once an app grows, once a social media app grows into a bigger bubble or a bigger, size, it kind of probably loses out on the hyper-local aspect of it.
So when you use our app, when you enter our app, right, you enter a language community, right? So the language community will grow, but the focus of that community, for example, I'll take the example of Karnataka, right? Karnataka will always trend Karnataka stuff, right? So the Kannada language community will have topics and trends that are relevant to Kannadigas, whether it's hyperlocal or national. It is dependent on the mood of the Kannadiga at that point, on that day, right? What is the Kannadiga, or in the Tamil network, it would be what is the Tamilian most concerned about today, right? That is not there on a platform like Twitter. It will always be national issues, and once in a blue moon, maybe one very state level issue will come up, right?
Why I ask this question is because Twitter also kind of started off as a kind of a hyper local or a very small, catering to a small area.
Yeah, but
now it's become a global.
But for us, the very fact that we have a language barrier, right? So you enter a community and you will live in that community. If you're bilingual, you'll switch from Kannada to Tamil if you know both the languages, right? But at any point in time, you're in one language, right? And hence making your experience extremely local to that language and that community, right? So that is one of the things. Second is, we've got personalities like Anil Kumble and Javagal Srinath, who are cricketers, right? They are globally known on a English platform, right? They will have global followers. They are going to be talking in English, right, most of the time, because they have followers from across the country and across the globe, right? When it comes to Koo, and they are on Koo, because they get a different flavor of interaction here. They post in Kannada, right? They get interactions in Kannada. They are able to talk to fellow Kannadigas. This is where they were born and raised, right? So this interaction is very different from all other social media that you get, right? We have Sadhguru's account, which has been opened, right? Sadhguru Kannada. So all of us have seen his videos on YouTube, which is mostly in English, right? And he's posting in Kannada to the Kannada audience. If you're a Kannadiga or if you're a Tamilian for Tamil Koo or Telugu, right? This is the place to be if you want the most eminent personalities talking to you directly in your language.
So Apramay, am I right in saying that you guys are actually targeting the upcoming internet users instead of the existing internet users? Because the existing internet users are already enjoying the offerings of various social medias, and they are already in touch with people like Kumble, Javagal Srinath and Sadhgurus of the world through that social media platform.
Yes. So people who, I wouldn't say just the new users, I would also say that it is the existing internet users as well. Anyone who would love to interact in their local languages apart from English in a deeper manner should come to Koo, right? If you're looking for an English experience, I think there are products already available. But if you want to get a local language experience, you should come to Koo. It's not about whether you know English or not. It is about your preference.
Twitter is a platform which is known and used by everybody, and almost everybody on the planet who has seen the internet world is knowledgeable about an entity called Twitter. But Twitter is also a platform which is known by everybody and yet directionless when it comes to where it is headed to, be it in terms of profitability, monetization, or stopping the trolls. So I'll ask you, divide this into three parts. So what are your monetization plans? Because how do you plan to make the entity profitable, or are you focused on valuation aspect of it only? Because you're an entrepreneur, I'm sure you will understand these intricacies. Secondly, you mentioned about politicians making their accounts on a local platform. We know of Cambridge Analytica and what happened thereafter. So, how do we balance both these aspects and the revenue part of it? That is something which, if you can explain, that would be great.
Yeah, so right now, at least, we're way too early. We're a 4-month-old product. We have a long way to go to acquire customers, users, and, Twitter is known only because the most influential people of the world are on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Twitter is not just about, okay, the average person can go and express themselves. Twitter is mostly about who can I directly access, right? And from Donald Trump to our Prime Minister to everybody else who will directly express their thoughts to me directly, right? So that makes it powerful, right? So I think our first goal is to make sure that we have our user base, we have influencers who want to talk to this user base on board, and that is the first level of success for the platform. Without that, there is nothing else, right? Money, otherwise, monetization, nothing else exists, right? How will we make money? So, advertising. So social media platforms in India, depending purely on advertising, haven't made too much money. So one thing is, over a period of time, this will change, right? With the spending power of the average Indian going up, the advertising money that is spent on acquiring those users will also go up. So we will need to have patience to basically hit a spot where the average Indian is valuable to spend on as an advertiser, right? So right now, at least, we're not looking at advertising as our only way, right? Of course, it will be a way, but it will not be the only way, right? There will be other ways. So we have in the pipeline live sessions, right? So we'll have all the influencers, no matter what field they're from, and the average Indian will want to learn from these influencers, right? And when they're learning from these influencers, if they're taking sessions or whatever it is, we would like to experiment paid live sessions and being able to go live along with them. While we have some clear paths of monetization, there will be other experiments as well, so that we don't have one major dependency.
Coming to the other aspect of especially your sector, your genre of social media. Social media eventually becomes a platform for expressing opinions, and normally opinions do not match in certain cases. Now, as social media entrepreneurs, we have seen from the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, they eventually realize that they are not in the tech business but in the media business. Okay, so and stopping the act of trolling, making sure that the platform does not become a depression agent for people who log on to it, making people quit the platform, issuing wild threats. How's your plan of controlling trolling? Because eventually humanity is where we look up to, and that's how, you read any thought process by maybe Yuval Noah Harari or any intellectual who studies human psychology, we see humans degrading themselves when it comes to expressing opinions. So where do you see trolling act going, and how do you plan to control it on your platform?
Yeah, so we haven't seen trolling on Koo so far, right?
It's a 4 months new app, 4 months old app. So
yeah, but we haven't seen it yet. I think it's a reflection of the unique network that we're forming, right? So it's not just about people coming and expressing opinions on news and politics and various other things, right? There are people who are coming and talking about their daily lives, very simple uploads of pictures of what they're eating, their surroundings, who they're with. All of that is happening on Koo, right? They are writing poems, they're writing their thoughts on life, love, various other things, right? People are talking about technology, and people are talking about food. So when there is an event that happens, people talk about it, right? But Koo is not just an event-based platform. So on a non-event based day, right? People are talking about everything else. And if an event happens, they put in only a certain percentage of those guys will also put in an opinion on what that event is all about and what they think is that it is all about, right? And if you actually think of it, there might just be a difference between the English heavy audience and the audience which does not prefer English as their main medium of communication. What do I mean by that? There might just be a lot more respect for fellow humans and what they go through. If you've not seen too much of the world, it could just happen, right? I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying the network will define whether there is trolling or not. And so far we haven't seen it, and we've seen good behavior. There is respectful behavior on the platform, probably just because everybody is struggling, right? And trying to make ends meet, and everybody respects each other's struggle here. So you're saying
you have a wait and watch approach as far as trolling is concerned. You don't want any decisive or maybe assumptuous tools.
I don't want to solve a problem which isn't there right now. So when we face it and we feel it is a problem, and people are just complaining about it and running away, then if it's a problem for the company, I will solve it, right? If it's not a problem for the company, I will let it be. And so far we haven't seen it. And on our Play Store reviews, there are not just one but multiple reviews where they say this is better than Twitter, the mood is so much better, people are positive. So we've got reviews in our Play Store reviews saying all of this explicitly out, right?
Sure.
So we don't have that problem today.
Okay.
And hardly do you come across people actually commenting on the overall mood of a social media platform. I mean, you do come across, but like in a positive way, like how you mentioned.
Yeah.
Apramay, let me shift your focus to something that is of a problem that is kind of existing right now. Okay. So Facebook came in the year 2004. Before that, we had Orkut, we had Hi5 or whatever, like other social media platform. Now we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have so many social media platforms, right? And it's no doubt that it has had a major effect on people's mental well-being. Like how Abhirav mentioned, there is trolls. But apart from trolls, there's also a second aspect, that is excessive use of social media. There's a fear of missing out. There's an aspect of narcissism. People feel lonely if their posts are not commented on, if their posts are not liked. People are kind of measuring their happiness based on the number of notifications that they're getting. Plus, social media's progress is measured on the number of people that use it and the number of times that they're using it in a particular day. So do you, as a social media platform creator, actually acknowledge the aspect of mental well-being, and do you have any plans of actually promoting a safe or a controlled use of social media? Because right now of course it's only 4 months old, but do you have such plans in mind? Because there is a massive effect of social media on mental health.
Yeah. So when we talk about all of us who've been using social media for a very long time, we've been actively using it for the purposes that the social media was made for, right? What I mean is that the English speaking audience has been overexposed to social media, right? The non-English preferring audience is just about waking up to social media, and there has never been a true social network presented to them. What do they use? They use YouTube. What do they use it for? They're not interacting with other people there. They're watching videos. They're using, let's say, a TikTok. There also, very few people actually create videos there, right? They're not making, friends. They're probably saying nice, beautiful, whatever in the comments. That's about it. But they're not interacting again, right? You don't really need to follow whether you download TikTok or I download TikTok when it was there, of course. But all of us would see the same videos, right? So there is no, people-based feed that is being presented to us like on a Twitter, right? Ever before. So I think, the excessive, use of social media and getting addicted to it, all of that is very specific to the English crowd. The new users are in a different phase. They're actually not in a phase where they're overburdened by it. They're actually looking forward to meeting more people and having happy interactive discussions, right? So as a fact, there is a Kannada blogger, video blogger who actually vlogs about health and wellness, right? She covered coup, and she explained right in the beginning, saying, why am I covering coup as a social media network when it is about mental health, right? Is because she thought that coup was helping lonely people staying at home to be able to interact with other humans, which they weren't able to before. That wasn't a problem with the English user. For you and me, that wasn't a problem, right? So we're in different phases. So I wouldn't again solve this problem for the coup users.
I like the giddy optimism, but and all the best to you, if that sustains. But why we are asking these questions is because that is what history has taught us, irrespective of the kind of social media. So not to discourage you, but we're just trying to be a...
if we say non-English, it's also European languages.
Yeah.
So are we talking Western versus Eastern, or are we saying non-English versus English?
No, so I'm not aware of people how people who speak Spanish or any other language behave on social media yet. But I'm just saying, as an entrepreneur, I will solve today's problems. Today, we don't have the problems that you're talking about. Will it come in 5 years? I hope, we remain as positive as we are today. If we're not, then we'll see what to do. Like, just because Twitter is negative, Twitter hasn't shut down, right? As in, people accept it for what it is.
It hasn't shut down because President Trump doesn't fail to use it every day.
Yeah. So I think, along with running the responsibility of running the company, there is also a social responsibility of how can we do good for humanity more than bad for humanity. So conceptually, I understand all of this, and we'll be very self-aware. We're very conscious founders, me and Mayank. And rest assured, we will keep solving it in the most appropriate manner as possible.
Now, Pramay, you are an entrepreneur, but now you're also a media entrepreneur. Okay. Now, with that tag, there comes certain set of responsibilities, ethics, dilemma. So these questions will be centered for the media entrepreneur per se, and not an entrepreneur. So don't try to be politically correct that I don't want to solve a problem because it doesn't exist today. Because this is something which eventually you will face. No.
That's not politically correct. No, it's...
in this context. In this particular context.
Okay.
Of course, it's valid in where you are saying that. You're absolutely right, to be fair to you. But in this particular context, you mentioned politicians creating their accounts on a localized, hyperlocal platform. Now, are you open to political ads in the future, number one? Number two, as a media entrepreneur, what's more important for you? Is it clout or is it profitability?
As a media entrepreneur, see, I am learning on the job. Okay, very frankly speaking. So what is it so you guys know more about how media entrepreneurs think than what I should be knowing getting into it, right? So if you ask me, is it clout? Is it this? I'm doing it today to enable people to express. That's as fundamental as it gets. The reason to start, right? Now, will media? So I have to be responsible for making this last, right? So I can't keep raising money and just telling people to fund me. I will have to become profitable, self-sustainable, and those are things that will be on me as a responsibility as the CEO and founder of the company, right? How do we do this? I think we will have to innovate in a way that it does not hamper the true spirit of the platform, right?
Sure.
And be as transparent. Like even if we choose ads, be as transparent that it is a paid ad, right? And we will never walk away from that, right? As entrepreneurs, so even while running Taxi for Sure, we've taken the most ethical stance during running that very, very aggressive, company in that aggressive market, right? Given that it is a natural behavior to be as straightforward and honest as possible while running a business, we will bring that feel into this business as well, right? But I will not run away from the responsibility of making this company profitable and self-sustainable, right? At the same time, we will not, just hoodwink some users and make them believe what they don't have to and stuff like that. We will. Are we open to ads from any particular industry or not? You cannot be only dependent on one industry, right? Like I'm guessing, during elections is when the political parties will spend a lot more. During the rest of the time, what do you do, right? So it is not going to be heavily dependent on any one industry for sure, right? Yes, of course, we will be transparent about it.
Of course, so you will be going to corporate advertising and brands getting there on the social media. That's, that is one aspect of it. That is how you gain money. But what I was talking about was from becoming a platform of expression to eventually manufacturing consent on the same platform, because that is what politicians have been doing, and that is what history has again taught us. I'm sorry, I'm coming back to history again and again, but the time being that that is what we have learned from political advertising so far. So will you be open to political advertising in the future? That's my question.
That's something that, so if there is a way to make sure that we can be a sustainable company without actually running ads, we'd rather prefer that, right? So I was talking about live sessions. I was talking about being able to monetize in ways that you don't have to advertise, correct?
Subscription-based models, basically.
Yeah, we could experiment everything in the world to make sure we remain as clean as we are at all points in time of running Koo, right?
Sure. Where do we see social, according to you, where is social media as an entity headed when it comes to humanity, not only India per se? And where do we see Koo 5 years down the line? What is your vision? You can choose to answer it in parts.
Yeah. So I think, the major countries of the world, right? So US developed social media and brought it to the world. China has its own social media, right? Russia has its own social media, right? India, we talk about India as a superpower or, future superpower of the world. We will have to have our own social media, right? We cannot have other social media come and block voices which probably they don't truly understand, right? There are lots of people who are really irked because their voices have been blocked, right, from expressing in India to their own people, right? And
because of language.
Yeah?
Because of language.
Because of language meaning?
They have been blocked to express
profanity.
No, not just that. As in, existing social media have outright blocked people from even saying whatever they were saying to their own followers, right? And of course, the opportunity for the new internet users to express is just not there. So I think that's what we will be all about. We will be one of the foremost social media apps of India, and we will keep innovating on how to make Indians express better. Indians want to express various kinds of things. Who is for thoughts and opinions? There will be other things that people want to express. There are other moods. We will enable all of those moods, right? As a company, that is what we are going to be doing.
Indian platform creators have always attracted attention of investors if their model has been, if the investors have seen the same model work in the other countries or different markets, like you say Olas of the world and Taxi for Sure, like the company that you had started. You see Zomato, you see Make My Trip. All these are models that are basically copied from the West. And investors in India that's what we kind of deduce it to, that investors in India kind of do not look at original ideas from here. They want to invest in products which have already worked somewhere else. Why is there a difference between investors in India and investors in the West or Silicon Valley? Why is it that investors in Silicon Valley are more excited about new ideas, about ideas which are completely revolutionary? And why is it that in India, entrepreneurs are forced to think of copying a product so that they get invested, unko jaldi investment mil jaye?
Got it. Yeah. So it's the stage of the ecosystem, right? The ecosystem is at a stage where the market is. So market defines everything. Now, US is the place where if there is a product that is being loved by users, there is a playbook to monetize, right? And you know that if you're loved by the user, there is a very fast path to monetization. Correct? So monetization is not a problem in that market. I will make $1 billion or few $1 billion as soon as I know that my product is loved and is being used every day or every other day. All right. In India, we are not at that stage of a market. Even if you innovate more than everybody else in the world and get a product that everybody loves, because you started in India, you will start with the Indian market first, because you understand the Indian user better than every other user. But that market is not giving you enough money for you to raise money to go global. Whereas US made the money and raised money and hence came to the markets where they won't make money, but they will make money in the future. Right? That approach will change the day the market, like the average Indian making more money, is very important to all of us. That will encourage new ideas from the VCs. That will encourage new ideas from the entrepreneurs. So it's a cycle, right? It's all interlinked. And unfortunately, we will have to respect this cycle, right? If you want to be truly innovative, you have to start in markets that make you money overnight, right? Where love from the user can be converted to money very easily. In India, it takes time.
So you're saying per capita income makes all the difference?
Absolutely. So the faster we increase that, the more innovative we can be as Indians.
That's sure. That's a very good perspective. Aparmay, thank you so much for your time. All the best for Koo. This was really insightful. And we hope that we see you with the same smiling face when we speak to you next. And you have not been inundated with the problems you don't intend to solve as of now. So all the best for that.
No, live in the present. No, as in be peaceful and take problems as they come and enjoy all the positives. Right, surround yourself with positive energy.